Welcome back to the show, everybody. So what if XRP has a security designation? Let's go ahead and unpack this thing and do the math on it, because no matter how I break this down, I see XRP hodlers end up being the 1%ers of the world. Let's roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen, and everything we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and get started. So Mr. B has shared the petition that I've shown here from James Rule XRP, and he's sharing it as well. And he's saying, you know, you may not think signing a petition will do anything, but it's a great way to start. It only takes 1 minute to do. So let's go from 4,000 people to 100,000 people in the next couple of weeks. Keep an eye out for more from him and everyone else for more legislative actions we can take action for the next few days. This is really a great idea. I'm going to continue to show this and carry this mantra because I really do think it's that important, and I will provide it in the comment sections of the videos going forward as long as it's a possibility for us to have an impact, because I really do feel like the best way to not be denied in this world, no matter what it is to be undeniable. Let's do everything we can to make our voices heard so clearly, not just loudly, but so clearly that we cannot be denied. Now, I've already done this, and I'm showing you it takes even less than a minute really to do. It really is nothing to do. And Lisa Lang from the XRP space is going to be putting together a letter as well, as she did for the support of Brian Brooks, and it was amazing. And when she does, I will be getting that around to help as well. Let's get as much attention to this and show that we are a huge group of investors who have been damaged by the SEC. Not by Ripple, and certainly not by XRP, but by the SEC and their dereliction of duty for more than 7 years. That's what that lawsuit actually says to me. Now, just a reminder here, we are $773 billion market cap plus in the crypto space right now. That is an impressive number. We are quietly creeping towards $1 trillion market cap for crypto. Keep an eye on that. Right now, we are at 23 cents, 0.236058 for XRP at the moment. We will keep an eye on that. Says it's up 6.9%. Not bad looking numbers when you've just been kicked in the shin there by the SEC, and then of course by all the exchanges beginning to either announce trading halts or a full-on delisting from investment groups and things of that nature. A lot of harm done by the dereliction of duty by the SEC, because they've absolutely been complicit in approving XRP to be listed on the exchanges, and they've absolutely, the SEC has been complicit in approving the deal with MoneyGram and Ripple in the use of XRP for settlement. So they don't really have a way out of this one. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and break this thing down. As I said, let's do the math on this thing. Let's just work through what we know a little bit. I just picked out a few main points for us to hold on to, because if in fact the XRP token is an unregistered security, as SEC claims, then that would mean since 2017, the Federal Reserve Task Force is a bunch of idiots, because they've been considering that they were going to use for settlement Ripple and XRP for Faster Payments Task Force, because that was the findings of the best solution and recommendation from the McKinsey report, which was then followed through by the Steering and Implementing Committee, which Brian Zagone was on from Ripple, to where they put the findings to work and implementation from the Federal Reserve Faster Payments Task Force. So this would mean instantly that even the Federal Reserve is colluding and working with Ripple and XRP and unregistered security. And even the World Economic Forum is got no idea what they're dealing with, because on page 17 of just January of 2020, they announced if you're going to be making a central bank digital currency, take this framework policymaker toolkit with you when you go back to your country, because this is the framework that the central banks will be designing their central bank digital currencies around. Inside of that framework is crypto assets designed for inter and intrabank payments and settlement, citing JPM coin and XRP. So now the World Economic Forum doesn't know what they're dealing with either. Hopefully you're catching the tone here. Now, looking at this is Jay Clayton in November, and around that time frame there, with the Economic Club in New York, and he is discussing, after being asked by Glenn Hutchins down here in the bottom right, bottom center, about what is going on with crypto assets, and obviously the space as it is, when are we going to get the clarity is really the direction he's going with the question, and what could we be looking forward to going forward. And listen to what he says in this exchange. Very, very important exchange that goes on here. Check this out.
Goals, investor protection, but fostering innovation in mind. Tell us a little bit about that journey as you've been chairman of the SEC, and give us some sense of where you think it goes from here.
Well, thank you. A lot of that goes to the women and men on our staff who hit this head on. But I look, when we arrived 3 years ago, the promise of this technology was becoming readily apparent. Unfortunately, the promise got channeled into an area where we have long-standing regulations that have worked really well, and that is that you can't make a widespread public offering of securities without going through the SEC registration process. And ICOs and the like essentially flaunted that. And look, I don't blame people for being motivated to try and take a new technology and raise money using it, but I was not going to be the chair that threw the 33 Act out after 85 years of success. So so there you have it.
So there you have it. I was not about to throw that out. Now he was referencing ICOs, but therein lies the problem. And he leans in just about as far as he's going to lean in, but he does get a little further on here because he's going to talk about financial payment networks in just a second. But you can see the seriousness in the way his body language is, that he laughs a little, the nervous energy of laughing a little, wiping his face here. And honestly, this is because we know that there is a new division created to focus on innovation and financial technology and digital assets for the SEC, which means, in my eyes, they absolutely need a new Ripple test, or just like the Howey test for securities. This is where we're going here. But listen further to what he says, and we'll comment.
That said, incredibly powerful technology for the financial sector.
Here's where he starts to get real. Incredibly powerful technology for the financial sector. Now listen to this.
I mean, it's technology that greatly reduces the costs of verification. It's technology that greatly reduces the costs of information transmission. And it's technology that can drive some of the inefficiencies out of our system. So that's where we are today. Comply with the securities laws, but push the technology forward. And the area that is of particular interest to me and many of those regulators that Gary mentioned is the payment system. We all recognize that our payment system is inefficient. Domestically, it's inefficient. Internationally, it's extremely inefficient. So if we don't work and use technology to address those inefficiencies, the market is going to do it for us. And I think we'll like the outcome much better if we as regulators proactively enter that payment space, ensuring that all the time proven safeguards around AML, bank secrecy, anti-terrorism, and the like are there. So I see significant promise going forward, Glenn.
There it is right there. And he's talking about the KYC, AML, CFT, terrorism, protection, all that oversight. And, Ripple and RippleNet have not had one transaction that isn't AML KYC, period. I don't know of another coin in this digital space that can make that claim. So, for me, I see just as bright as an upside going out of this thing as he says he does. The other part to this is that he clearly points out that there's inefficiencies in the payment section, whether it's domestic or international, right? What else do you know of in this space? What other company has been working as closely with not only the regulators, but the banking system and the SMEs and the payment providers and the remittance companies that all have a direct business wrapped around the idea of cross-border transactions in some way, shape, or form? I'll wait. Want to phone a friend? It's Ripple and XRP, right? It's pretty obvious. So the reality is it's pretty obvious to me as well that that's the reason we need to have a standalone office created by the SEC to actually make sure they can monitor this properly from day one, and that they can have a test of parameters just like the Howey test for digital assets and what becomes a digital asset security or not. Now, let's change gears just a touch because we're going international here. This is the FSB, the Financial Stability Board document on stablecoin consultation and global stablecoins. You know, there was an article, and we're going to look at it in just a second. In fact, let me see if I can just find this here. It's an article right here. U.S. warns crypto stablecoins on money laundering risk controls. If you go down into this, it was the President Working Group. I showed the document when it came out, but the group says stablecoins may be securities, derivatives, or commodities, depending on specific qualities of a particular asset. So, coming back to this idea of a global stablecoin, maybe stablecoins, whether it be a global stablecoin or a stablecoin, get security designations. And maybe that definition becomes a new definition to encompass this new digital technology that would be outside of what we know as a security definition for stocks. What would be the benefit of this? Right? What would be the benefit of this? Because, you know, we look at the document inside of this about global stablecoins, and they break down in here because it was from July, I believe, of 2020, the middle of the summer, and it was talking about Canada. It was an exchange with the Financial Stability Board, which is a regulatory agency connected to the G20. And inside it, they break down what are crypto assets. Bitcoin, Ether, and Ripple have often been referred to as virtual currencies, but it's somewhat of a misnomer as these units do not compromise currency. We shall define these units as crypto assets. Do you understand what they just did there? As these units do not compromise currency. That's the question. What designation can they give XRP that can give the world the benefit of its full-scale intended use without challenging or compromising the world's currencies that exist today? If we end up with an XRP security designation, I believe it will be no mistake that they would do that, and it would be a definition that would allow us to have all the benefits and uses of XRP as we know it today, but it would have a classification that somehow would clip its wings to the degree that it could never quite be revered or used exactly in the same manner and challenge the US dollar and the other major currencies of the world. Because if that's the case, then what you're really saying is the adoption of an asset and the rest of the world's governments agreeing that, hey, sure, fine. If you want to go ahead and allow an asset that's not backed by a country or government to get more liquidity and more depth, right, and more scalability and efficiency and faster settlement time, and you want to drive that value into that asset that has no backing by a government or country, sure, go ahead. Listen, there isn't a government on this planet, that's going to sign up for that. That dog don't hunt. But what I do believe, if we find ourselves with some kind of a designation, it would be because we fall into a utility token, transactional coin token, if you will, like it says on this diagram under here for Ripple, Stellar, IOTA, transactional coin token. This is a financial stability board document with communication going back and forth between Canada's Royal Bank, the Central Bank of Canada. Okay. I mean, this is the way they see Ripple XRP right now, as a transactional coin that is not a security. But I'm just talking about the idea notion that stable coins, eventually a la global stable coins, may potentially see some kind of a security designation just to protect the other sovereign nation currencies around the world, like the US dollar. Because listen, here's the deal. The world understands what XRP can do at the highest level, from the G20 to the FSB, right down to the Treasury and all the treasuries of the major currencies of the world, governments of the world. Right now, they all understand what it's for and what it can do. Which means they understand if they allow their payment flows to synchronize onto the new ledger, the XRP ledger, and begin to settle where applicable with the XRP asset, the native token of the ledger, then they understand that they're going to drive an immediate amount of value into that asset and send the price of XRP through the friggin' roof. Which means you now have an asset not backed by any one government or entity, decentralized asset that is worth trillions of dollars because you've just driven the price of the token to $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 or more dollars a token to be able to settle the world's value back end on the new digital Internet of Value system, or digital financial system, however you want to look at it. If you understand that, then you understand whatever they call this thing, whether it's a hula hoop, a donut, a security, or a currency. I can bet you $1 to a donut that whatever they put in place, it's going to have the kind of parameters on it that allow it to get the value it needs to serve the world's use back end for settlement, but never be able to challenge the US dollar as it stands today. That doesn't mean that the US dollar won't lose its potential global reserve currency status, but I always believe that we will remain a unit of account, at least for now going forward. And then the medium of exchange can be XRP backend and even have a store of value as well. But that's where I'm at on this day. And again, when I look at this and say there's kind of a little bit of a headwind leaning into the idea that we may get a security designation, depending if we get a global stablecoin designation. Now, that would all kind of swing together in my mind. But here's the other reminder that it's actually money to me. To me. Now, they can call it whatever they want. Like I said, as long as it doesn't hinder the use of the asset or my ability to invest in it, I don't care what they call it. But a reminder here that it actually is currency in my eyes, from my point of view, just breaking back to what I think of it. I also feel like, Craig Phillips, Susan Friedman, Michael S. Barr, and Sandy O'Connor from JP Morgan, but all three of the aforementioned, when you're talking about Craig or Michael or Susan, all came from the U.S. Treasury, which deal with monetary policy. Which is why I firmly believe Ripple is going to become and grow into a central bank, because they have their own form of money in which they have released to them on schedule escrow monthly releases, and they decide how much stays out and how much goes back on the back end. That is exercising good stewardship of the money XRP, and I believe also it's just basic monetary policy. And they've also told us that they buy back off of the secondary markets where you and I get XRP, which is all a measure of being able to not manipulate the market, but to actually participate in good monetary policy, instead of like the Fed just like printing all the time, right? We actually have them making sound decisions to take whatever they need to off the market at the right time, buy it up off the exchanges, and then go ahead and release a little bit out on OTC to the right level of utility, depending on the volume that participant brings to the network. This is where I believe we are, and I believe that a lot of what the SEC and people are claiming may look right on the face of it, but if you understand that Ripple has actually been working as a central bank, if you will, with their own form of money, lender of last resort, then I think you understand it's what they've been doing is not collusion or market manipulation or anything like that. What they have been doing is exercising monetary policy on a new ghost money that the world is about to be introduced to. That's what I believe. And before I get out of here, I just want to throw this little note out here. This is from Bank XRP. Kraken is expanding. You know, they were the first ones to get a banking license, banking charter here in the United States. One of the only exchanges that didn't halt USA trading of XRP. How about that? And does that have anything to do with the fact that they have a banking license and the other exchanges don't? And does that have anything to do with the idea that this may get a security designation or it won't? Does it have anything to do with the idea that XRP may be a global stablecoin to the world? I don't know, but I find it very compelling that they haven't even talked about the idea of halting trading or let alone a delist. So, you know, this gets more interesting by the day. One thing I know for sure is that nothing is promised. Nothing is guaranteed. Actually, the only guarantee is if you don't do something in your life, it won't happen. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I believe we are the XRP next 1%ers of the world. If this pans out anywhere close to where we're going, as Big Skinny says, we're never more than a 9 iron away from the green. And that's where I think we are right now. I don't think we're no more than a 9 iron away from the green on this one, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know, and hit that notification bell. Make sure you check out the links in the description box and the comment section. And don't forget, do your part. Don't just complain on Twitter. Take some real action. Fill out that petition, sign it, and make sure you get it in there. Let's have a real voice in all of this, and I'll catch you on the next one.